the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. So hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. This is our session with Aurora Shele DeAngelis. I will let her introduce herself to you guys. As always, I have no idea where we're going to go with this conversation, so we will see where we go. I did ask Aurora to come up with an idea of what her team would like to share, so I will turn that over to her as well. But why don't we begin with a little intro and then let people kind of get to know who you are.
Yes, thank you for inviting me and thank you for making this possible. So my name is Aurora. I live in Hawaii and I'm originally from Albania and I've lived in Paris for the last 12 years. I just moved like 9 months ago here. It's been interesting. I think a part of it is to also share the different energies that different places bring on Earth and how I have evolved differently in different places as well. So I started by doing hypnotherapy 10 years ago, and then 3 years ago I added more tools such as theta healing in my tool panel. And I've been channeling spirit here and there during all my sessions. So usually hypnosis sessions involve auto hypnosis, but it also involves guidance from the practitioner. And I've been fine-tuning the way that I receive messages in a way that it is the most appropriate for the client. And recently I discovered tarot cards, and by recently I also mean in the last 3 years. And I mean discovered because usually people start with cards and then transition to hypnotherapy. But I started with hypnotherapy and then I've been transitioning to cards because it is kind of a gateway, a door that most people will be willing to take. It is more like low risk. It involves less trust. And then I've been using that as a tool to build more trust for then people to use that as a tool to improve themselves and to help them in everyday life. By the way, my headache is completely gone now. I was saying, Daniel, that I woke up with a massive headache, like the biggest that I've had in years. And I think it's maybe my team trying to communicate all the information that I'm willing to share with you today.
I'm really glad to hear that. So having started there, let's begin by me asking you, given the subject of this summit, what does channeling mean for you and how do you use that in your personal life as well as professionally?
So for me, channeling means receiving information and transmitting it in a way that is the most clear for everyone. I say that because our language, and independently of what language we speak, has its own limitations. So for me, language is filtering feelings in a way that is understood by other people or species in our planet. So channeling comes with a feeling. For me, I don't particularly hear or see, because there are different ways of receiving information. Some people are clairvoyant, or they listen, or they feel. For me, it's more a feeling. The same way that I use when I see like a tarot card, that maybe it's not the same for everyone, but I feel that this card is trying to tell me this thing to this person. And the same card for another person is something else. So it's like something that we don't see that communicates to us. That is what channeling means to me. And the way I use it is for daily advice. I use it when people ask me, of course, during the sessions, so that my questions are more on point and I don't derail to things that never reach the point. I've been practicing with that, like putting time limits and see how fast I can get there, like shortcuts. But mainly it means just to be conscious of ourselves while we live lives daily. 95% of our actions are guided by our subconscious mind. Seems like a huge number, but I've seen numerous studies that confirm this number. I didn't make these studies myself, so I say it with a grain of salt, but let's say that it's a huge percentage of our lives that are directed by our unconscious mind. And what that means is that I'll take a very small example. I went to do my nails the other day and I picked a color and I was like, oh, I really love this color. I did not remember. So I put the color and I'm like, this reminds me of something. Well, a year ago I had put the exact same color and it was like, I loved it. I had forgotten about it, but a part of my subconscious mind still remembered it. So out of all the colors, I picked the one that it was like the most familiar, I guess, for me, or that was associated with good memories. So usually when we take decisions, we are, even though we think that we're making those decisions consciously, it is mostly subconscious. The way we go to work, for example, why do we always take the same route, more or less, and don't adventure to take, left or right, and to change it every single time, because our minds also feel a comfort knowing what the result will be. So for me, challenging and integrating spirit means to shed a more conscious light in those decisions that we take, especially if we don't like being in the same loop over and over again, making the same decisions over and over again, or attracting the same people in our life over and over again, and then asking ourselves, oh, what happened? Like, why do I find myself in the same situations? Like, this is not possible. Out of all these people, it's still the same type of relationships. It's because a part of you is attracting that, and that part is subconscious. So as much as you think or try to think consciously what is wrong, unless you have more information, I'm not saying necessarily hypnosis. Hypnosis is a tool. There are many tools to connect to spirit, but hypnosis is a very powerful tool to see more, to dig deeper into your subconscious mind and see how you are creating life for yourself. And most importantly, if there are parts that you don't like about it, to let it go and create new pathways to attract better things for yourself. I don't know if that answered the questions. Maybe I went a bit like left and right, but
sure. There's no wrong answer to the question.
Yeah. Yes.
So where would you like to start the conversation?
Okay, so I had a few topics in mind and now none of them is coming to mind.
Beautiful.
Which means that none of them were.
Okay, so let me put you on the spot, okay? Given that we are in a virtual summit where what I have done is provided an invitation to spirit and have spirit communicate with us.
Mm-hmm.
If I can invite you to just sit quietly, connect with your heart, and just allow whatever messages that are coming from your team, if there's something that they would like to share with us.
Yes, it's coming back now. The biggest illusions that we have living on Earth, and that makes life on Earth difficult, as opposed to other planes where there are less filters or where the information is more clear, is the idea that we are separate. That we are this one person and that the others are others. Or that we, like, God is separate from us, that our guides are separate from us, that our family or even our enemies are separate from us. There is this idea of separation that creates a lot of the suffering that is here on Earth, because it creates this idea of loneliness and that nobody is there to take to take care of us or to guide us. I'm talking about cases of like extreme desperation or depression, or on the other side of the spectrum. Most people are somewhere in between, navigating lives and being in relationships, being in whatever way that might manifest, like other family or pets or co-workers, or just a book. Like a book is also full of people's energy, that the person that wrote that, so it might transmit the knowledge in people's subconscious and aura, and make us feel less alone, like a sort of connectedness. So this is what you are doing with the summit, and this is also what my work has been so far, to make people realize that we are all connected and they're never alone, and that they're always being looked after, even when they feel that they're not. So all what my spirit guides are telling me, and what the creator is telling me about earth creation, is that we are very, very unique. Like our experiences in this life are very unique. It's only us that can see the world with the filters that are ourselves, like with our eyes, with our senses, and then makes our experience extremely precious, because no one else beside us can experience life exactly the same way as we are right now, and that includes us in different timelines. Like includes us. I was mentioning before that I lived in Albania, France, South Korea, and here, and in every time, every place, I was someone different, not extremely different, but my evolution has changed since, has evolved. So I have experienced life differently, as I'm doing now. That being said, we are also very more united than we think we are. That means that I could very well receive information for you, as like I'm doing for myself, because we do share one same essence, one same consciousness. It's like this big pool of, I always imagine it as a cloud where I go and see like, oh, who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? And then change it if I don't want it anymore, but also see how we are all interconnected in this big unity. And a lot of suffering comes because we lose connection. We're not aware that this connection exists. And sometimes we also take the pain so that in our minds, we want to alleviate it for other people. It has happened to me several times that I start feeling physically ill when a loved one is ill, because I am subconsciously, I do receive their signal of distress, and it's not conscious, so I don't realize that I'm doing it, but I make myself sick so that I can heal myself, so that I can heal the other person. It is not the best way to do it, because you don't have to make yourself sick, and there's no guarantee you'll heal the other person, because they have their free will. So it's not that they cure yourself that they will necessarily tap into that healing. And of course, every person has this potential of healing themselves. Like it is our natural gift. We do forget sometimes, so that's a shame. But coming back to channeling spirit, for me, that includes that as well. When I have a pain, to see if it's mine, if it belongs to someone else, do I want to keep it? Do I want to get rid of it? Or most times what I do is just send love to the person and then go on with my life, because it is my number one rule to not interfere with the free will. So if a person specifically hasn't asked me for healing, I won't go there and do that. Because as I said, with our filters and our uniqueness of our experiences, there are no people that are better than others. There are no experiences that are better than others. It is just different. But if it wasn't different, it wouldn't be as rich and as powerful to be experiencing life on Earth in this reality that is like the only one we see and perceive.
So there's a lot of things that you've shared that I would love to kind of dig into and explore a little bit more with you. Mm-hmm. But let me again invite to anybody and everybody that is present during the live show. Feel free to raise your hand if you want to ask a question or share a comment. And of course, you can always put something in the chat. Feel free to interrupt our conversation because Aurora and I can talk forever. So one thing that I wanted to highlight, and again, given the subject of this summit, you'll notice that when I asked Aurora about connecting with her team and to channel a message that came through, she is speaking from a knowing that's coming through her. She's not speaking their voice. She's not speaking their message word for word, as others in the summit have done. So the reason that I want to highlight this is because everybody is different and there isn't one way that's better or right or wrong. It's really, really important that as an individual, you find your way of communicating with your team and receiving their messages and understanding and communicating. And again, there's no right way or wrong way. Now, this doesn't mean that Aurora can't do that. It just, in this example that she's showed us, she didn't, quote unquote, channel the message externally. It was an internally channeled message that she received, which she then spoke to us about. And so I wanted to highlight that. One thing that I also wanted to kind of bring up is, and I would love for you to talk about this, Aurora. You have, and I'm like you in this way as well. There's a very strong intention of not interfering in someone else's process and in asking for permission. The permission aspect is something that's really, really important in your work. And the reason that I want to highlight this is because as we all go forward and as we start interacting with our higher self, our teams, the energies of our apartment or our house or the trees or the animals around us, being respectful of their space, being respectful of their individual journey is really, really helpful. And I love the element of permission that you always bring into everything that you do. And if you could talk to that, I would really appreciate it.
First, so as referring to your first point about challenging the spirit or like being, I would call that a trance when you're just directly speak what your spirit is telling you without filtering. Yes, it is possible. Everyone has their way. And but for me, the topic of this of my talk would be to fully integrate in spirit in the 3D world, which means that sometimes, and I've noticed, it is important for me to be a fully functional member of society while I also like I channel spirit in continuously. Which means that if I were like to channel all the time outside of my body without filtering, I would be like sitting on the chair, eyes closed, and just the words keep coming up, which also happens and which I've also done, but in a very specific context, which is when a person has specifically asked me for that. Otherwise, most of my friends would just be not pissed, but more like they want me for me. They want to experience Aurora as their friend rather than their therapist or rather than their, their channeled message or their guides. So I've made a point with myself to separate my work from my social interactions, because otherwise it's like I kind of lose that, and that is personal. Maybe other people don't experience in the same way, but I kind of lose that identity that is mine. So I am able to say this message this way because I have integrated through my own personal filters and through my own unique experiences. So I can talk about it in this way. If I were just a channel spirit, that is also possible, as you said, but I thought that in this group, or for the message that I want to spread, is that it is also possible to do it in everyday life with seemingly completely normal, but knowing that your the message that you're saying will impact the other person, maybe in a conscious or subconscious level, you don't know, but I have this certainty that it will. And I have tested myself, obviously, many times, especially with doing readings for people. I have this readings, I used to do this Monday readings where I ask people to ask me a question, but I don't know them. I don't know what they look like. I don't need their date of birth or the country of origin, or like, it's not really astrology. It does not involve my conscious mind. It's most like a channeled message for them. And I've been mind blown myself that these people said that what I said was absolutely true, because I really had no way of knowing. That being said, that's the other reason why permission is important for me, because, well, first of all, I know that this is a work that requires a lot of energy. Our bodies on Earth have their boundaries, like have literally skin, a physical boundary that we cannot be expansive and channel as much energy as we can because we get tired and also we have our physical limitations. So if I were to even send healing or ask questions for people that did not specifically ask me to, that would mean that I would be wasting my energy without any guarantee that that person would even receive the healing, because for every person it is their own willpower and their own free will that is the most important. It is not what I will say. And second of all is so that I can be more performant, but also know that I will go there when I'm most needed. And I'm most needed if a person specifically asks for my help. And I know that because every client, every therapist, or every practitioner are a perfect match for one another. It does not go one way, it goes both ways. We choose best people for us at that specific point in time so that we can get the most learning for whatever we want to do. And that includes if a session does not go well. If a session does not go well, it means that both people have something to learn from it. It cannot always go like perfectly, because otherwise there is no growth or learning. So we learn something from every situation. I don't know if that answered your question, or if you have more questions.
I'm always going to have questions, but I would love to kind of give you an opportunity to go a little bit further into the subject of what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So this idea of, and I'll shut up and let you take it.
So I also wanted to give guided meditation or a group hypnosis for the people present towards the end of our talk, which means maybe the last 30 minutes. I don't know if that's okay.
That's fine. So the one thing that I would like to, would you want to do kind of open up for questions after that, or would you want to do questions before that, like finish with the meditation?
I was thinking of finishing with it, but let's let the people decide.
Well, let's do this. I mean, as always, I mean, you guys are more than, yeah, of course, you guys are more than welcome to ask questions throughout. If there's anything that you would like to ask Aurora during our conversation or anything that she's sharing, please, raise your hand or put the question in the chat. I will keep an eye on the time, and when we get to the top of the hour, I will let you know so that we can go into the guided meditation.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you prefer. And meanwhile, okay, I will want to go a bit deeper in the topic that I chose. Okay, Katie would like a meditation to finish. Yeah, I was also thinking finishing just because in the end, people don't necessarily have questions right away. They might be in their state of, not here nor there. And also maybe 30 minutes, they would like more than 30 minutes to relax and to enjoy. But it's up to everyone. Okay, so let me go a bit deeper about what spirits want to say or to channel. So there are different planes of existence. Maybe you already know about it, or maybe other people have already talked about it. But I will briefly mention these planes because it's important to know also from what plane are we channeling this information, because each plane have different goals and has also different messages to share, but that doesn't mean that we cannot heal with every plane. On the contrary, we can heal with each and every one of these planes. So the first plane is the inorganic plane. It is the metals, vitamins, minerals, things that are that we don't perceive them to have life, at least like live and breathe and walk, but that they are just as real. The second plane would be the organic plane, like plants, fairies, that we can see that they live and die, but they are a bit more visible to our eyes, that their evolution. The third plane is our plane, so animals, humans. With each plane, you can move, as you can see, a bit more, like vibration, like a stone can move less than a plant, like a plant moves a bit more, but a dog or human moves a bit more than the previous two. The fourth plane is the spirit plane. So when we die, our soul goes to the fourth plane, where we can meet also our ancestors and our team of maybe guides, but guides can also be on the fifth plane. The fifth plane is a more evolved beings, which is the ascended masters, or the energies, the energy of Jesus, of Muhammad, or prophets. And later on, the sixth plane is the planes of law, in which every one of these planes that I previously mentioned adhere to these laws. Like, as I said, we have this physical body, and we cannot like expand infinitely within our skin. That would be one of the laws that keeps us like intact, for example. But there is also the law of music, the law of sound, of the law of attraction, electricity, like everything that we use, we can use as tools on this earth to make our life more expansive. And then the seventh one is the spirit, as I call it, but the creator, God, everything that kind of englobes all these planes. So when the message that I will channel from God would be different from the message that I would channel from the Ascended Masters, which was also different from the message that I will channel from my direct guides, maybe, or a parent that has passed away, which is different from our problematics of the messages that I channel from you. So when I connect to God, or the first thing that I hear is, you are loved more than you think you are. Because that energy there is pure love. Like, there is nothing else that exists. I have experienced it for the first time in a dream state, and it completely blew my mind, like an out-of-body experience. It's like you go with a list of questions, and then I saw myself going out of the body and then finding myself in front of this beautiful, beautiful light, where there was an absolute peace. And it was so absolute that nothing else mattered. So my list of questions, they were like, oh, do you have a question? I'm like, nope. Like, this is all I need to know. And it's like that, I don't know, when you feel so peaceful, nothing else really matters. But if you are trying to like choose the best house to buy or something like more earth-like, you wouldn't necessarily go to the spirit of the creator to ask them for advice, because they'd be like, everything you choose is fine. There is like things to learn from every house. Even if it's not fine, it will be fine in the end. So it's like this message of peace and love. So maybe you want something like more practical. That's so you will go to a different plane, to the fifth plane, to ask your guides. which one would be the most appropriate for me. So usually what I do now with different questions that I have from different clients, I will ask the most appropriate guide to come forward and to give the message. So when I read the tarot cards, I will ask the master of tarot cards. I have no idea if there is one that exists, but there's always one that manifests, like a guide that, and I see myself like we direct a panel, and then we see the person in front of me, and then we start like channeling whatever message their subconscious is giving us. So I wanted to say that you can choose whichever plane you want in accordance to what things you are trying to decide or to want to have the answers for. And it won't necessarily be the same plane every time. It really depends on what you want to know in this particular situation or this particular for the questions that you have at the moment. That's why for me, it is very important, the third plane, the plane we're on. And it is very important because I've heard for many, many people that I'm looking forward to go to the 5D. It's different, they're both called dimensions. I call them as layers, but I mean, within the same layer, we can have many dimensions and we can like jump from one reality to the other. That is a topic for another time. What I'm trying to say is that for me, it's very important to be in our bodies because our experiences are so unique and they're so beautiful that there is beauty in each and every plane. We don't necessarily have to go and stay with our guides and refuse to come back, which sometimes happens during hypnosis because people are so relaxed that they want like, oh no, my life sucks. This is so beautiful and peaceful, like a beautiful dream. I don't want to come back. And I say that the purpose is to make your life not suck and to see how we can incorporate these teachings so that your life is better and better, and you're here for a reason. But if you choose to stay always outside of your body, you're missing out on whatever this body has to offer to you right now. So when I hear from the spirit that you are loved more than you think, it means also that you are the spirit integrated in this body, and no one else can do the job that you're already doing. No one else can do it better because no one else has literally been in your shoes, having your experiences, seeing your world through your eyes, and that you cannot do it wrong. Like you're doing great. Even if you think that you're screwing everything up, just for the fact that you are alive right now, just for the fact that you want to better yourself, that you want to get more information, it's enough. Like you are enough. And you are not just enough, like you are beautiful and you are so powerful beyond imagination. And I cherish every moment that you have on this earth with all the pain that comes sometimes, because in other planes you cannot feel pain. So even pain is a unique experience for this existence and you can learn from it. The trick is just not to get stuck in it and keep repeating the same things, but by having the awareness, just by realizing that this thing happened and you don't have to do it anymore, it helps you switch to another reality when you have a more fulfilling life. Long story short, my purpose today and also in my life is to bring like heaven on earth. I've had that as when I first did my first hypnosis on myself from another hypnotherapist, that they said that my purpose in my life is to bring heaven on earth. And for me, that does not mean anything more or less than to be here and to find a way to be happy right here, right now, in this life that we have, and not wait like for the end or for a different plane to feel better.
I absolutely agree. And, as you know, a big part of my work is to help balance the relationship between spirit and human.
Yeah,
I think that's a big part of kind of what we're all here to do. And I think that there's a lot of conversation right now in the spiritual communities about the evolution of our planet, the evolution of energy for our existence, and where we're going collectively as a species, energetically and physically. And there's a lot of talk in all of that. And I think a big part of what's being missed, and to some degree, there's a lot of emphasis on going into kind of what people are referring to as 5D versus 3D. And I know that you sort of mentioned this a little bit, and it's a little confusing because of what you described can easily be misinterpreted by cross-matching metaphors.
It is a fault of our language, and that, I tried to explain, but it was really briefly because both are called dimensions, but we're not talking about the same type of dimensions. I could see it also as layers or vortex, but within one dimension, you also have like multiple dimensions. So really, it depends what is different for everyone, for different people. Another important point that I wanted to mention is that while we were talking, I received the information. Don't forget to mention this, that it is not reserved for certain type of people. Everyone is a psychic. Everyone can have access to all these layers. Everyone can receive information. Everyone can channel information. As for myself, I went to engineering school and I did engineering for 10 years, and I was surrounded by engineers that were very much in the flesh or in like making things materially. And even in that particular setting, I encountered so many connected people that were there to help, people that channeled information, but they didn't specifically know where it came from or could give it a name. So one of my goals in this session and also in my life is to make people realize how they can do this for themselves. It is not a gift. I wasn't born with it. You can learn it. I learned it. It more than talent. It actually involves a lot of trust. And by trust, I mean the trust in yourself and the trust in the information that you're receiving. So one of the things that I do when I read for other people, I have to say the information exactly as it comes, because it might not make sense to me or to my brain, but I know that if I filter it through my consciousness, it might not come forward as clear or as good as the other person needs it to hear. So that requires a lot of trust, because sometimes you're like, this is nonsense, this doesn't make any sense. But if you let go of the expectations that everything needs to make sense and that everything like needs to be perfect, then you don't go anywhere, because the perfection means different things for different people. And it's really the imperfect that we come forward with the information that we really need to include or to integrate in ourselves. So yeah, everyone can do it, and everyone has their different ways of doing it as well. There are many beautiful people that you don't even have to call it spirituality. I have clients recently more and more that do music, or that are artists and painters, and you can be a beautiful channeler just by painting or by singing, like the lyrics in the song, or sometimes even the sounds like that make you vibrate or open the consciousness for another fellow human being. Having a conversation with a friend, like our lives is filled with so many simple and beautiful things that sometimes we disregard that, because we might either have this idea of perfection or this idea that this person is doing better than me, or I should be doing it this way and not this other way. But every person has their own way. So just do it. Just don't overthink it. It's like, it will come. If you really want it, it will come for you, and it will come through you in a way that only you can do it, like through your uniqueness. Nobody can do it like me, and I cannot do it like no one else either. That's why before I was also saying that there is a perfect match between a client and a therapist, and that includes between an artist and a consumer, like a customer. Everything in life, you will find like your perfect match, the thing that you need to know by the person that needs to hear it, like right here and right now. So if you feel a passion for something, just go for it. In the worst of cases, you will feel good that you went for it. In the best of cases, it will also help somebody else find their inner talent, passions, and their way of channeling spirit.
Again, there's so many different directions that I would love to go into, but there's a couple things that I'd like to highlight. First and foremost, I have always been resistant to talking about our spiritual intuition as gifts. And I know some people do, my gifts and your gifts, and as you develop your gifts. And the reason that I don't like that language is because it implies that it's something special.
Yeah.
And to some degree, I understand what it refers to. And yes, I agree that it is something special, but it isn't anything unique to you. Have that ability and I don't. You've got that gift and I don't. And that's not not the impression that I have. And that's not the language that I tend to prefer using. So we all are gifted. We all have access, and just how that represents for each of us is different and unique. But we all have access to all of these quote unquote spiritual intuitive gifts.
Yes.
There are certain propensities that our human has that makes it easier for me to see versus someone else that's easier for them to smell or taste. My sense of smell isn't very strong, never has been. And so chances are very high that I'm not going to use smell as a way to connect with spiritual messages, as an example. But that doesn't mean that I cannot get spiritual messages through smell. It just means that my preferences are aligned in such a way where I'm going to have certain strengths in one area more than another.
Yes, and for me, when I started doing hypnosis and I was reading all this book about other people's experiences, I was like, it is so beautiful because I have these very vivid dreams. So I was expecting to see like life in Technicolor, like every color imaginable. Turns out my hypnosis sessions are not at all like that. Like I cannot see anything. Like it's blank, like it's black. Sometimes I see like a color here and there, but it's like no shapes, nothing. And yet when I talk during the hypnosis session, I'm like, I talk and I talk and I talk. I'm very fluid, like I'm seeing all these things, but it's like, it's the knowing that this is happening rather than I see it with my eyes. That frustrated me for a very long time because it's the expectation that I needed to see it. Like I could make my clients see it, but I couldn't see it for myself. And then the other time I couldn't make them. It's just their way of channeling information. And later on, when I asked why, I discovered that it is because because for me, channeling happened through the knowing rather than visuals. So it was to not confuse like dreams with the reality, like that this channeling was reality and dreams were dreams and they could be in colors, but that I had different way of receiving messages for different like planes of existence, I guess, for myself. But yeah, letting go of expectations, how it should be, and then rather discovering for yourself how it is better than just expecting it to be a certain way and getting frustrated because it's not. Doesn't mean that the other person making it better.
And
this is how it is.
And it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the process. And, if you're struggling, because I struggle with my own ideas and issues and challenges, and when we struggle, it's an invitation for us to go deeper into our own power, into our own connection with self. And so there's a lot of opportunities. And so I'm constantly being reminded by spirit that when something happens to us, recognize that it's happening for us, appreciate whatever message or lesson or meaning is coming through that experience, accept it. And in that gratitude and in that acceptance, it allows it to share whatever it is that it needs to share with us so that we can then grow and expand deeper into our potential.
Yes, exactly.
So,
yeah, I was going to give an example, but now I feel that it is not important anymore. Yeah, so let's move on to another topic that maybe I'm gonna I will see if there is anything else of importance that Spirit wants me to communicate today. The idea of love and self-love comes very strongly again. We talked about it in our podcast, but yeah, I think that still people need to realize that how important it is to love ourselves and exactly for who we are, for our talents, for the body that we're in, and to not wish to be different in the context of being like someone else, but more like being different, like being a better version of yourself. Like if there is a person to compare yourself to, is compare yourself with who you were today and how far you've come in your journey and who you are now. Not like, oh, I want to be like that, and I want to receive information like that, or they're talented but they're not. These are all like programming. Maybe when you were a child, your parents used to compare you to everyone else, or like your siblings, or even your neighbors or other classmates. Look, why did they get an A but you didn't? Like, what do you have that? What do they have that you don't? Maybe they have a talent in math. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like cherishing. Stop believing that voice that tells you that, and instead believing that you are unique and you're here for a reason, and that you do things differently doesn't mean that you do things worse. It's just different, and different does not mean better or worse. It just means in another shape, in another form. And if you want to compare yourself to a painting, it's like choose 3 different authors, 3 different painters, and try to rank them. Like, it is impossible to rank paintings. It speaks different things to different people. Why would a blank like board or like that banana on the wall sell for that much? Maybe it had something to do, like something, a voice to speak to someone else. And it's not like, oh, we don't have Monets anymore, or there are no Picassos that will ever be born, so like let's all be Picasso or be Monet, or at least compare with them. They were who they were, and you are your own painting, and you choose your own colors, and you choose to feel your painting with all your different experiences, and that cannot be ranked. That cannot be compared to a better or worse. I know that our systems are created this way. I know that our school system is created this way, and even more so, like back in the day, this is how things were. We were talking about psychics, like psychic or medium was a specific profession that implied that this person had certain talents that other people don't. So I think now it's like time to get rid of all of these things that are not serving us anymore. All of these beliefs that enough people believed it and that they're still happening, but it doesn't mean that it's the truth. Like, the truth changes as you change and as you want it to change. Rather than truths, we are like a big person with a lot of belief systems, and we can change those beliefs in other more positive beliefs that will improve our life better. So yeah, the message is stop comparing yourself and start loving yourself, because no one else can sing the song that you came to sing in this earth.
I love that. I love that. And what you were sharing reminded me of something that was another message that came through another conversation a couple of weeks ago, which is around looking at how far you've come. And you mentioned this, you know, in what you were saying, there was a phrase or something you said that was kind of pointing in this direction. It's really recognizing and appreciating how far you've come. Where are you today? And you know, I use my frustration with my mother as an example constantly, because this is still something that I get caught up in. But if I look at how far I've come in my own personal growth, it's it's obvious that I'm a different person than I was a month ago or a week ago or a year ago.
Yes.
And so looking in that direction and appreciating the change that I've had. And yeah, maybe I still get frustrated and more frustrated than I would like to, but again, that's just an opportunity for more growth, for me to go even deeper within my own process.
Your frustrations or your negative feelings are just indicators to show you where you need to work. They're not like you're a bad person and these bad things are happening to you. It's more like you are this person having this experience, and this particular experience indicates frustration, which means that there is something to change there in order for you to release that. And sometimes the knowing does not happen after. It only happens after we went through this, after we finished that chapter. I did a session yesterday when I closed some doors from 10, 15 years ago that there were subjects that I had worked on, and they just needed the door to be closed. That's it. Like no more, nothing else to work on that, just to have the realization that, okay, I closed that chapter in my life and I'm thankful for what it brought me. And I don't need to keep repeating that anymore, that it is done, it is finished, and everything's good. So yeah, you've done great. This message is for you as well.
Thank you. I'm a work in progress.
We all are. If a person tells you my work is finished, I have more work than everyone else.
And so again, I want to remind everybody that's currently on, if you have a question for Aurora, or if there's something that you would like to share, please feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand.
And then maybe we can start with the meditation if there are no questions. Or okay. For Jackie, would enjoy hearing what message may come through for you today. Jackie, I see you sitting in the middle of a room and you have many, many doors and opportunities in front of you. I see at least like 11 or 15, like not a small number. But you keep looking at the doors without really going to open them because you want to know exactly what hides behind each door, like what each door, where will it bring you? So you hesitate to go through the door, and the spirit is saying, it's giving you the green light, like choose one door. It doesn't matter which door. Choose with your intuition, because you know exactly where this door is gonna get you. And even if you choose, you can always come back. If you don't like the door, you can choose another one and another one. Like there is a limitless possibilities, and don't limit yourself because of the fear that you might not turn back. Maybe you won't, but you will turn back to something even better. So the progression is not just a straight line. It's like going through that experience and then seeing what you receive from that experience, and then going to another experience. And then maybe you like that experience better, so trying to go there first. But don't be fooled by your idea that you're not making progression, or that one choice is better than the other. All choices are good as long as you keep choosing and you keep walking through the doors. You need to trust yourself a little bit more, that you know what is best for you, and to go for it. Whatever is, if you're hesitating at this moment, just go for it. I think that you know what is this about, and they're telling you that they are supporting you and that they have your back. You are not alone. you can open the door. It's like the door and the knob. Sally would love a message too. So let me connect to Sally. It is very beautiful. What I see is like a garden with a lot of butterflies, and Sally, like a very young girl, I would say little, but it's not little, like young girl with a very beautiful dress that is enjoying, like really enjoying this life. And they're telling her that this is right. This is what they want you to keep doing, to have fun, to take these little steps for yourself, to you know what it means to love yourself for yourself. You know that it means to be in pure joy, to be in to love yourself so much more, to observe children and how they have fun, and to keep integrating even more fun into your life. They say that you are like a big bright light for everyone in your life, and that even when you doubt yourself, or when you're like, oh, my life is not like that all the time, or I have moments like that, but it's not all the time. It is an indication that you are being that light for other people that are in your life, and that maybe you are not aware of, but just being you, just saying hello in the morning to the cashier at the supermarket, like you make their day, whether you know it or not. So they are very, very proud of you and your light. And then Kiara, of course we have time, Kiara. That is your message. Don't put others in front of yourself. Give yourself time. But let me see if I have a more specific message for you. Okay, time. It is time to come out. For Sally, for Jackie, I was seeing all those doors, and you, Kiara, I see you like hiding behind one of the doors, and it is time for you to come out. That is, you are ready for the exam. That's what they tell me, and the exam of life. It's like you have been gathering so much information, like so much and so much, in order to finally feel ready to take the step and like to be who are you supposed to be, and and it's time to do it. Like just do it now. There is not, like, the information is infinite, and they're saying that you don't have infinite time here, so you have to just jump on the train. You have to start your journey, and you have to start it now, because it will never be enough, but also you already have enough. So it is to just pull yourself out of the closet. That's it's because you'll never be as ready as you are now, and you'll see that it will only take one small step, and then all these things that are being ready for you will just come flooding. It's like gifts. It's like you've been saving. I have the image of what are this ant that keeps like providing and gathering for tough times. And you already and you don't need to gather anymore, because you have such infinite knowledge and information inside of you, and it is ready. You are ready for other people to receive this information. And I think that maybe one of your fears is that people will laugh at you, or that you'll be ridiculed. So if, with your permission, can I remove this from you now? Can I remove this belief that you will be made fun of for displaying the information that you want, that you are safe to talk to everyone you feel that is ready for information and for this, for what you have to give, and just be yourself. Like that's like everyone, and no one is watching. Like speak like you are speaking to yourself and no one else is hearing you. That's okay. I will do this now. So the method that I use is Theta healing to change the beliefs and to just open the door for you to come into yourself. Wow, I feel a bit overwhelmed, like because everyone is clapping and it's like, thank you for coming in, like thank you, like everyone, literally everyone in your life and your guides and angels and people that you see and you don't see were waiting for you to take this step. And now I see that you're inside and you will only receive compliments and beautiful things, and like it's like the ridicule is not even part of your life anymore. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You can be totally yourself and feel safe and free in what you can give. And good job for all the work that you've done so far. You are more than ready. And I had a lot of things to say about Kira. You're welcome. Thank you, Jackie, for your comment. And I think the last one is pure brilliance. I love the name. How can I expand into my creativity and heart space more? Do you have a message there for me? Thank you.
Can you connect with that, or do you need her name? Or would you like her name? You're good?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. It's funny because I don't know all of you personally. I think it's the first time that I connect to your energy, and I love the energy of this group. Thank you so much for participating and for listening to me. Okay, so for brilliance, I'm gonna call it that. It seems like, so I see you running around and forming a circle until you go to the center. So sometimes it feels like you are tired because it feels like it is a bit hard for you to go on point. Like I see this very, I don't want to say dispersive energy because it is, at the same time, it is very closed. It does have a continuity, but it's like you're starting from the edges of the universe to get to the heart of the matter. So sometimes in your mind, you're like, when will I get there? When will I get there? When will I get there? And you are getting there, but it is, you feel like it is taking you so much time and like so much effort to be more creative and and to go to your heart. So you say, how can I expand it more? But I see that it is already very expanded. What you actually need is to concentrate it in, to embody it in your heart, because it goes all over you, all around you, and you need like to take it and like to put it in yourself so that you can speak from your heart and give a direct message to the person. So your creativity is like, let's say you want to write a book, or and you have like 1,000 ideas of which book to write. And it's not that your creativity is being blocked, it's that you need to choose which one to channel. And once you finish with that, then you grab another idea and channel that in whatever form channeling is for you. So it could be, you know, like writing, painting, anything. So yeah, the message for you is like, breathe and gather all this, like allow yourself to integrate this information at the rate that you need to integrate this information, and do one thing at a time. You are getting there. Also, you have a belief that it takes a long time to do something. and maybe we can remove that and change it with, you can do things instantly. It is possible, like to heal instantly, to create a painting instantly, like in a day rather than in a month. That even though we have time and we experience time in this earth, we experience time differently regarding different people. We do. Okay. Yes. So do you allow me to gather all this information and to gently put it in your body and so that you can tap into it whenever you feel appropriate. That you can take your time to do things. Don't rush at the same time. Like find which time is most appropriate for you. But you already have everything you need, and just, I see like it's just up for grabs. Okay, let's change the time distortion into putting you in the linear time that we operate, but also being able like to switch timelines if you want, to go in a timeline when you already have what you need. Okay, like a grasshopper. Okay. Yes, it is done. It is done. And I will open big the doors of your heart, and you allow me to do a cleaning. Actually, for the whole group, would you allow me to do a cleaning of your heart and to anywhere that are like pains and delusions, desperation, hurt from the past, not necessarily now. Can we just get rid of it now? For everyone who wants that, please type yes. Or say yes vocally, but that's only you then. Okay, it is done. It is done for all of you. And also, I let the energy in the space for people that will listen to it, maybe listen to the recording. They can also tap into this frequency and it will be available to you. So if you say yes to yourself, once you hear this recording, it will also be done for you. And it's my absolute pleasure to do that for each and every one of you, and for myself. I, of course, include myself in that. There is
All we
never
do is
enough
always
love.
selfish. Everything that we do is always selfish.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
if you're not good at ourselves, we cannot like heal others.
Exactly. I mean, like I keep on saying, I created this event because I wanted this event. And, so this is, thank you so much for that. I'm aware of the fact that you wanted to kind of finish off on a meditation. We've got about 20 minutes. Are you okay with that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That is, that's more than enough. It is what it Beautiful. Is. And so I want you all to find a comfortable place to sit or to close your eyes. And for those who can't, again, you can listen to it in a later moment. And I want you to start breathing deeply with each breath. Feel your body that gets heavier and heavier on the couch or your bed or the chair, and your mind that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I want you to imagine being in the most beautiful place in the world, or what you consider being the most beautiful place in the world. Imagining maybe the shore, the beach, or the top of the mountain, or in a forest. And I want you to use your 5 senses and to see and feel the wind in your face, also the water that goes through your feet, and the sun in your skin, and the smells in the air. Early in the morning and you hear the birds chirping, or late afternoon and you smell the sea or the fresh air of the mountain. Now I will start downloading some energies into your space. And you can say yes mentally if you want to experience these energies in your body. The first energy that comes forth is how it feels like to feel pleasure and happiness in this body now without pain, without physical or emotional pain, and that is possible for you to feel it right now. That it's possible for you to feel it forever. Now I want to download in your space and to see the energy of what it feels like to be beautifully and uniquely you. What it feels like to be yourself. And I want to show you all the beautiful colors and virtues that you have that no one else has. May it be shown to you now. I am being shown the image of a little baby that is being cuddled by their mother. So can I show you now what it feels like, the energy of a divine mother and a divine father, and what it feels like to be loved so much from your mother and father, even if maybe it wasn't your case in this life. Can we substitute the energy of mother and father with a divine mother and divine father so that you can start loving the inner child, the baby you, now? That is so pure and unconditional. The energy of talents is coming up now. Can I download in your space your unique talents? What can you develop more in this life, and what have you already developed and accomplished that you don't need to dwell on them anymore? Just you can let go and open the door for new things to come to you. On your left side, you will see a tray of light weapons. It can be shields, it can be your power tool. And you can pick which one you want, which one you need right now. They're available to you and will be integrated in your body in no time. Very good. Now, your soul, family, and your guides, or your main guide, or a person that has passed and that you love very much, will come forth to give you a message. And I want to let you spend a few minutes with them and see what they have to tell you or what gifts they have for you today. And the last one would be the energy of what it means to incorporate spirit in 3D, what it feels like to be spirit, to live life as spirit, and to know to channel spirit at all times when you choose to, for yourself and others, that it is possible and you already know how to do it. Again, say yes if you want this energy in your mind. Okay. There is another energy that comes forth, that is the energy of what it feels to be proud of yourself, that you have done a beautiful work, what pride feels like according to the definition of the Creator, and align it with yours, that you can be proud for everything you've done so far and everything you will accomplish. That they are proud of you, and you can allow yourself to be proud of yourself. You are doing an amazing job. May all this information be integrated safely and gently for each and every one of you. And when you feel ready, start walking back and back into the path, and imagine all your consciousness being integrated fully in your body as you open your eyes and feel wonderful, more wonderful than ever. Take a deep breath and welcome back, everyone. It is not exactly how I thought it would go in the beginning. I thought it was going to be more like a guided meditation, but instead it was a theta healing meditative according to the energies of the group. The energies that wanted to come forward did. So I hope you all could enjoy that. Oh, we cannot hear Daniel. I think your mic is...
I've got two mics. I've got two things, and I keep on forgetting when I do both just to protect the sound. Thank you. That was really beautiful.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to do
absolutely.
that.
So I want to give a little bit of time for people to just kind of like settle back into the experience, back into themselves from their journey.
Thank you very much, everyone that also is replying.
So we've got a few minutes left. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to share with us.
I think the last thing would be just practically for all the people in this group. I would, since we talked, everything is changing. So my website is changing, my offers has changed, and I stopped doing the free Monday readings that I said that I was doing for my website, for my page, because it is evolving. So, but of course, for the member of this group, you can contact me privately to require your reading by saying that you were part of the session today. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me now. Yeah, thank you, Jackie, for the warmth, and thank you everyone else for the comments. I also felt it on myself. So it is good. And my headache is almost gone.
So I want to just kind of highlight the opportunity to have people work with you. In the, if you go to the website, if you go to the free offer and the special invitation, there are ways for you to connect with Aurora through her Instagram. At the moment, her website is being developed and upgraded and things like that. So she's asked that the best way for people to reach her is through her Instagram. So in the special offer, there's a description that she's offering people a discount for any of her services.
Yes.
If you can, Aurora, if you can send me a description of what you would like me to add into the free offer, I can update that in the website. Thank you, Chiara.
Thank you, Chiara. Yeah.
And for people that are listening to this and are not watching the Instagram, it's Aurora_hypnosis.
Yes.
Is
so for the people that will listen to it later and I don't know their names, just write a private message on Instagram that you come from the summit 2022. So I know that it's coming from this, from the recordings. And thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, my website is, again, I was almost ready to complete it, and then I did a session and other messages came forward, so I'm still restructuring and putting the right colors and everything is upgrading. So but thank you very much for listening, and for thank you, Katie, for the synchronicity of the meditation. Yes, it was all channeled. I did not prepare this in advance. I thought it would be something else, but something else came up. So just I let it flow with whatever felt right today. It is my pleasure. I don't know if you have any other questions or anything you need me to do.
I have nothing. I am always grateful and appreciative of any time that we spend together. I always look forward to connecting with you.
My pleasure. And I said unconditional love to all the members of the group. So unconditional love is the only thing that we can send without permission. Like, more love never hurt anybody. Then people can choose to grab it or not, but that is something that we can do for everyone. So I send love for every single member of this group and also other groups. Everyone that followed the summit, thank you so much for inviting me and for making this possible. And I'm really looking forward to more work together and with all the beautiful people and that followed us today. Thank you, Chiara, Sally, Katie, and Pure Brilliance. I love your name.
Thank you so much, Aurora. If anybody has any last minute questions, like I say, we still have a few more minutes, but if there's nothing else, then I'm happy to bring this conversation to its natural close. So Aurora, thank you so much for being here with us, for everything that you shared.
My pleasure.
Like I say, it's always an honor to be in your energy and your space and to collaborate with you. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. And I also want to thank our guides and the spirit for being here with us and for all the messages that were sent.
Beautiful.
It is, I love it. I love what I do, and I love you all.
And on that note, so this is the last session for today. So we will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time for the first session. Florentine is going to be starting us off. Information, I'll send it to you via email. And as always, I will leave you guys with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.